thought?
Yes, I think so. I hope so. So it's always difficult when the game was literally 12 hours ago or whatever it was. So a lot can happen in the next 2 days. Am I glad there's a day off between games? Yes. So let's see how he is tomorrow. But yeah, it's playoff time, and regardless how we think of how it happened and how it went down last night, we can debate about that. But you get dinged up this time of year, and but these guys, put it this way, that kid's. If you watch last year's playoff and anybody that knows him, what he went through to finish, it's remarkable. So I'd never count that kid out.
Stay on the left side, third row, Sergey.
Coach, over here.
Sorry.
That's right.
My lefts and rights.
What makes Andrei Palat as productive and as consistent in the final relative to the playoffs or regular season where he still produces there?
You mean the kid that got passed over in the draft and then had to go into his second draft and get taken like third to last? So that alone, and just to get to the NHL, just put that in perspective for a second, what he went through. I always say, big players have to play themselves off teams and smaller players have to play themselves on teams. First rounders usually get every chance in the world to make teams. Seventh rounders, not so much. So you're constantly having to prove yourself. So just to make it alone probably tells you a lot about him as a person and his drive. Yes, you have to have a skill set, but there's probably a reason you were passed over in the draft. And you were probably lacking in some area, or whatever scout didn't think you were quite at the level that some of the other guys are, but you continue to find a way. And so to me, passion, drive, all those adjectives you just throw into this kid about how he is as a person, how he plays. He never quits. And he's developed a skill set. He worked at it. And when you get to this league, you can't stop working. That's when the work just begins. And Palat's, he's a special kid and a special player. And the weird thing is, I think I've been his only pro coach, 10 or 11 years, whatever it is, and we're a better team, and I'm a better coach for being around that player.
Left side, second row, Tom.
John, you're, I guess, same situation as last round. You won the one game, you're back in the series, sort of. But where do you feel like you are as far as the way you want to play, and what areas do you want to still kind of improve in?
Well, as my son said, Dad, your first game was a borderline C+. Your second game was an F. He gave us into the B's in this one, so we're trending in the right direction. But did we improve on things we needed to try and slow them down, to try and limit the rushes, the odd mans we were giving up? We did. Are there holes in our game right now at times? There are. I think we didn't need to spend as much time in the D zone as we did last night. You get out to a lead, and maybe there's a little tendency just to sit on it and protect it. So we have. I feel like we have more to give, but we are trending in the right direction. And I know it is similar to the last series being 2-1, but we still need to win the next one. I don't. It'd be tough on us if we just sat here and said, "Okay, we got one. We're going to be okay tomorrow." It's each game gets tougher and tougher. So, but the guys, give them credit. They knew what they had to do, and they did it. But now we got to do it again.
Right side, Greg.
2 injury questions. You said that you think Kucherov can play, you hope he can play. Is it more think or hope? And what is the status of Braden Point for the rest of the series?
Status of Pointer is day to day. It's probably the best I can give you. Highly doubtful, he's doubtful for tomorrow. But Cooch, but as I sit right now, I think he can play tomorrow, but I'm not Cooch. But if I know Cooch, he's sitting here saying the same thing. But we'll see what doctors and everybody says after that.
Back left, Luke.
John,
Hey, Luke.
how would you describe how your relationship with Steven Stamkos has evolved from the moment you arrived here till now?
Wow, my answers are long-winded enough. Now I'm going to get a long-winded one out of this one. So it's like, I always describe this like being with a family member, and I've been able to watch him grow. You know, he had a few different coaches in his short tenure before I got here, and it was different ownership, different general managers, different coaches, and I think that can be difficult at times. And so there was when Jeff bought the team and he added a bunch of stability to the team, I think that stabilized Stammer as well. But he was a young sniper that was just filling the net, scoring 60, and he had the Marty St. Louis. He had all these guiding lights in front of him where he didn't have to be that guy. Then there was the changeover, and all of a sudden he's thrust into a position that I remember Steve Yzerman telling me, he became captain at, 18 or whatever, and he told me, he said, they put the C on me too early. It's hard for young guys to wear that burden at such a young age. And Steve, being the great that he was and still is, like, he grew into that, but he said it was hard on him. And for Stammer, who was a little bit older, but that's a big position to be thrust in. And for me, all of a sudden you're going from the guy that you're not dealing with as much to now he's the guy that you're leaning on, and we're just guiding each other, and where there are ups and downs, no question. But Stammer, I think to watch him grow from the single guy sniper to family man, husband, father, it's just odd. Like, that's the joy of this sport, and being able to have relationships and to watch Stammer go. And now it's, honestly, I think we speak less now, but know each other better, just because he knows what I'm thinking. I know what he's thinking. One look at him, yep. What are we doing here? This. Like, we almost, you almost can finish each other's sentences and thoughts because of how long we've been together. But like any relationship, it takes time to foster. And, but boy, he's become a hell of a leader. I'll tell you that. Like, he was a hell of a hockey player and less of a leader. Now you could almost say he's a hell of a leader and not less of a hockey player. He's just, I guess, an older hockey player. But 100 points. It's been fun to watch and great to be able to coach him as long as I have.
We'll take two more questions on the right side here. John?
You touched on this last night, but what is involved in the makeup of Andrei Vasilevskiy that he can endure what he did Saturday night, sit on that for 2 days, and then come back and play the way he did last night?
For sure, growth. Like, his mental growth has been phenomenal over the last 6-7 years. I think that type of loss in 2014 or 15 would have been, the losses are painful, but that would have lasted, it would have stuck with him longer. And that's what makes the good ones great. Like a goalie, he's the last line of defense. Anytime a goal goes in, everybody's looking at him. And to be able to have that ability to turn the page, different because you have 2 days to turn the page, but when a goal goes in, you have to turn the page 10 seconds later when the puck drops. And that I think has been the gift of him that has made him great, is the ability to turn the page.
Last question, back left. David?
Hey, John. I remember last round you saying, as far as special teams are concerned, the PK is actually more important as far as winning goes than the power play. What level of concern do you have right now on your kill, just knowing they're exploiting a few things?
Yeah, they are. There's some pucks going in the net. Do we think that, can we get some more clears, win some more faceoffs, do all these things that can help out? Sure, we can. Are there some, like, hey, you got to tip your hat? Like, Landeskog's shot, it's a hell of a shot. Like sometimes you just got to say, okay, good on you. The goal, the tip goal, 4 seconds left. When there was a game one, or like some of those were like those are defendable. So we like some of the things we've done. Yeah, is there concern some goals have gone in? They have, but we take less penalties. Stick to your structure. The belief of what we've done this whole, like we've shut down some phenomenal power plays, and we know we can do this, but they have a good power play, and they feed off it. It gives them energy, but we have a good PK, and eventually, I know like the bounces will start going our way at some point too. But I'm not concerned. It's like look at their team over there. They have a hell of a team, and they're going to score some goals. They're going to get some power play goals. But are you killing them off at the right time? And we feel like we are. But as we move forward, as you said, we're going to need that PK to kill them off because I don't think we're going to go penalty-less for the rest of the series.